Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Want to do a quick book report here because the book I'm going to talk about is very small. It's like considered the modern-day common sense for our generation. It's a short book. You can pretty much give it to anybody, and the topic is quickly absorbed, but it's poignant. It's very good to read. The book is How Do You Kill 11 Million People? Why the Truth Matters More Than You Think by Andy Andrews. It's available at Amazon. I'll put the link down below here. Go check it out. So what I want to talk about, I'm going to walk through some of the bookmarks that I made and some of the highlights. But basically, let me give you a premise here. The reference to the 11 million people is a reference to the 11 million Jews and other people that were killed during the Third Reich, and how a big lie repeated over and over again was what led the German people to follow the idea of the Third Reich and what it stood for, and basically the teachings of Adolf Hitler through Mein Kampf and so on and so forth. So, now, I also want to make a point that they talk about other tyrannical despots and whatnot in this book, but they use the 11 million people as being the most, prolifically understood. It doesn't take away from the Armenian genocide, Pol Pot, Stalin, the Russian people, so on and so forth. If I left out any horrible, thing, it's included. So let me go through some of these popular highlights here that I wrote down when I was reading. Simply stated, the past is what is real and true, while history is merely what's recorded. So that's true of our history books, both of our nation, of other nations. If you were to take history books from two different nations that were involved in a war together, the history books will be vastly different. Even our Bibles and our holy tomes, they have different interpretations of what happened over time in terms of history. So there are a lot of quotes from Hitler, one being, "How fortunate for leaders," said Hitler to his inner circle, "that men do not think. Make the lie big, make it simple. Keep saying it, and eventually they will believe it." And then in Mein Kampf, Hitler's autobiography, he wrote, "The great masses of the people will more easily fall victim to a big lie than a small one." The book was widely read by German people at the time, and it's what led to the Third Reich, the growth of the Third Reich. And another highlighted point I picked up was, "The most dangerous thing any nation faces is a citizenry capable of trusting a liar to lead them. In the long run, it's much easier to undo the policies of crooked leadership than to restore common sense and wisdom to a deceived population willing to elect such a leader in the first place. Any country can survive having chosen a fool as their leader, but history has shown time and time again that a nation of fools is surely doomed." So it's of the people, basically, paraphrasing what the author is saying here, to hold the leadership accountable. And the point, and it's an interesting point, the point that the author makes is that it's not necessarily the actions of the person that gets elected. Surely they're human and they're fallible. It's their character and how they responded, why they did the things they did, not necessarily the act itself that we should be most interested in. Incredibly, there are 545 human beings who are directly, legally, morally, and individually responsible for every problem America faces. Have you ever wondered why America doesn't have a balanced budget? Have you ever in your life heard of a politician who wasn't for a balanced budget? Have you ever heard of a politician speak in favor of a complicated tax code that ordinary citizens would find difficult to understand? And of course, we hear that all the time. Then why do we have complicated tax code that ordinary citizens find difficult to understand? Meet the 545 men and women who enact every law, propose every budget, and set every policy enforced on the citizens of the United States. One president, 9 Supreme Court justices, 100 senators, and 435 members of the House of Representatives. I'll leave it at that. It is a good read, a quick read. I think I knocked out the whole thing entirety just waiting for my hair appointment when I was sitting in the lobby of the barber shop. Go ahead, check it out, and I think you will enjoy it. Of course, look more to the message of the book than to try and pull all the facts out of it and cross-check all the values there. I think the point more is about what the message is of the book than necessarily the facts that get you to the understanding that the author is trying to pass on. Anyway, I give it a thumbs up. Go check it out.